Hello, I'm Nils Rasmussen and I'm standing in our completed weekend remodel bathroom. In this video we're going to show you how to take a bathroom from looking like this. This is the before image of how everything looked, and it was basically stock builder bathroom. Not much to it, nothing terrible but nothing great. And we're going to improve it by doing a few things. We've got a new faucet, we've got wainscoting or beadboarding all around with a nice piece of trim on top, and then we've got new tile as well on the whole floor, and definitely spruces up the place and kind of gives it a nice, fresher, cleaner look. Additionally, my wife went ahead and refinished the vanity, giving it a nice white look instead of the previous oak, and I went ahead and put new hardware on there to give it a new, fresh look as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is disconnect the water so that we can turn the water off and get this vanity out. We'll do the same thing for the tub. So in order to do this, we need to first make sure the water's already off, and I went ahead and turned it off. In this case I had to turn it off at the main valve because our valves down here are useless. They don't actually turn off, so we're gonna have to replace those, but that's another story. I'm turning the water on just to make sure nothing's coming out, and we're good. Okay, so the next thing is we're gonna remove the plumbing, the drain plumbing, and these are really pretty easy to remove. Now I will warn you, these are gross. There's gonna be hair and black soot and nasty stuff down here. So let's see what we get. So these just come off by hand. There we go. I've got a little tray under here to catch the water that falls, because this is called a P-trap. There will be water that's in there. Keeps gases and fumes from coming up. There we go. Okay, there's some of that lovely hair I was mentioning, and something weird fell down, a pin. Alright, nasty. Alright. Okay, I'm going to also remove this piece back here just because that'll make it easier to work around. Just take that whole thing right out. Okay, so that's the drain plumbing. Now I'm going to go ahead and take out the, if I can find my wrench, just take these off just like we did on the toilet. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And now our sink is disconnected plumbing wise. So now I've got some screws to remove. So let me show you how we're going to take this whole thing off. Okay, so in this case I've got 4 screws that are holding the vanity onto the wall. And there's likely a little bit of liquid nails or construction glue holding this on as well. When I did our other bathroom recently, I ended up having to take off the sink from the vanity in order to reach these screws, but these ones look like they're a little bit easier to get to, and we'll see if that's the case. So I've got a power drill, got it in reverse. Okay, unfortunately, even with my gooseneck extender, it just doesn't seem to want to come out. So rather than risk ruining the extender or injuring myself, I'm going to go ahead and remove 4 screws that are holding the countertop to the vanity. So there's usually one in each corner. I can see them here. So I've got one in each corner to remove, and there should be a hole right in the center of these little plastic guys here. And if there's not, they may have driven it somewhere else, which is the case on both the vanities in my house, in our bathroom. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And 4. Okay, so in order to remove the toilet, we just have a few parts to take care of. First, we want to make sure we turn the water off. So righty-tighty, I'm just twisting this little valve down here for the main intake for the water. I'm going to flush the toilet in a second and let the tank drain, and that will let all the water go down through the system and get this as empty as possible. Doesn't need to be totally empty, but the more the better. And then also, if we can push some of the water out of the bowl itself, that'll be ideal. And then next thing we need to do, well, I'm going to go ahead and flush this. And then I'm just going to take my adjustable wrench and start loosening this guy. Okay, then I've got a washer, a plastic washer, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll be able to lift this thing right on out. Okay, now the last thing we need to get this thing out, now that I've got the other side done, is we're going to go ahead and remove this little washer here, or this fitting, lefty-loosey, here we go. Some water's going to come out. There we go. Okay, just a little hose full there. And now we can actually lift this toilet right off. Make sure you lift with your legs. See if we can get any drainage out. And out it comes. There's our wax ring, which we'll have to replace when we put it back in, but otherwise we're good. Okay, so we have now removed the toilet and the vanity and the counter and everything. I went ahead and vacuumed up the floor and then removed the towel rack and the medicine cabinet as well. So we're about ready to go ahead and start on the floor here. There's a couple ways to get started. Probably the easiest is just to start with something that's loose like this right down here. So we can start peeling up this area here. So I'm going to cut to some footage of the other bathroom that we did last week, since we already got some shots there, and you can take a look at how we went about it. Now this stuff is usually just glued onto a subfloor or onto a, yeah, in this case it looks like it's right onto the subfloor, and there isn't, sometimes there's this 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch compression board stuff that's underneath there, and to get things nice and level. That doesn't appear to be the case this time, and so we'll just work with what we've got here. The object here is just to get every last shred of this stuff off though, so that's what I'll work on for the next little while, is just taking this all off bit by bit. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the floor ready to go. We've got the linoleum all peeled up, and a few things that we ended up doing here. My wife and I scraped off the linoleum as we showed, but we ended up actually using 1-inch chisels to do a lot of the work, where we'd kind of lift it up, peel underneath, and pry at it to get all the paper off and the adhesive and everything. And it came off pretty well. It took us a while. It took us a good 1.5 hours or so to get all the pieces up and everything. Then once that was done, we went ahead and swept and then vacuumed, scraped again to make sure everything was off and that the surface is nice and smooth. So.